Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's for
Amy
Riley.
Oh, that was so nice. We hit two completely different octaves.
Totally.
Right?
I went for foghorn vibes.
And we did the different types of octaves that normally our voices, the opposite of our voices.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. We have something very special happening here today where my kitty, Martha, has joined us on the couch. She's usually terrified, living in fear from our podcast.
We tell you every week, but there are so many reasons why you got to watch the YouTube after you listen. After you listen to the audio, you have to look at the YouTube because the things we do visually, you're going to want to see. There's cats. Sometimes we have ice on our heads. Sometimes we make physical gestures that you just can't even imagine, right?
You have to see to believe.
Yeah. So after you tee us up audio, what's that called? Auditorially? Please watch us visually. You have to watch us twice to get all of the nuance.
Yeah. So nice. You listened and watched twice.
Can we say what the other good news is really quick?
Go ahead.
Besides Martha being here, which was so nice, Amy and I are having.
She's already gone.
Okay. Well, we're having a good luck day. Very good luck because right before we got here to record, Amy and I officially registered as a business entity. The two of us, 50% co-partners
Yes.
of a business entity called Villa Grigio.
Yes, that is our LLC. I guess we're allowed to share that. That's not like...
Yeah. They can't look up. Yeah, you can't try to fraudulently hack us with just our business name. That's going to be on all the stuff that we, write forever.
Our credit card.
Our credit card. And this thing, our banker, his name was Christian. He's one of the nicest people in the world. He said we had the best luck of any two business people he's ever met with. He goes, normally this process takes twice as long. And normally you never get pre-approved instantly for, certain types of business.
Well, you said usually that location is crawling with people dealing with the business advisors. We walked right in.
Right.
Got approved for everything. And we're going to be cooking with gas real soon.
This thing is, this is a home run. We are no longer treating this as just some side project that Amy and I don't give a shit about. This is officially real. Christian told us, you guys are so lucky. This never happens like this. And so, we are officially a business together.
It's true.
I feel happy about it.
I hope it doesn't tear us apart.
Well, I think that the huge thing is that we're 50-50.
Yeah.
If I would have tried to finagle 55 or 51%, and then there would be bad blood between us. But we're easily separatable. 50%. We know exactly where that cutoff is.
Yeah, I can always replace you with a different guy. Swap in 50%.
Yeah. I was going to say we have the Weinstein brothers contract, Bob and Harvey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You take Dimension.
And
I'll
then
take Miramax.
Right. Dimension started to do really well, and Harvey got a little jealous of his brother Bob.
That's Scream, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted an enterprise that was just the garbage that Bob likes because he wasn't a cinephile like Harvey. Harvey was a cinesthete.
Oh yeah, you're reading that book right now.
Yeah. Harvey had he liked like Water for Chocolate. He liked foreign films. His favorite film was like Truffaut.
Okay.
Shit.
Well, I don't know if you got into this. What's the book called again?
Well, there's a bunch of Harvey Weinstein books. The best one is Hollywood Ending by Ken Auletta. He's a New Yorker writer.
Okay.
He wrote the definitive, fact-based, no bullshit, this is the real, full, verified story book. But then I'm also reading Down and Dirty Pictures.
Yeah,
Peter
I've
Biscuit.
read that one.
Okay.
And my favorite detail was that he was obsessed with the movie Kate and Leopold.
I haven't gotten to that yet. That is so fun. Harvey was?
Yeah. He it brought him to tears.
Yeah.
And he said it was a modern classic. It's with Meg Ryan and Hugh Jackman.
My family also loves that movie.
They do?
Yeah.
Well,
so
Harvey loves it.
Yeah. Wait, would you say Harvey? I mean, I think Harvey ultimately he was right sometimes on the movies and his personal philosophy. He was right a lot of the time. I'm just kidding. No, but he also had really bad taste.
Yeah.
And he pushed for like Shakespeare in Love to win the Oscar over Saving Private Ryan. He did a bunch of like shady, horrible shit to get like Oscars for his shitty movies.
Yeah.
And he sort of created Oscar bait.
Totally.
Single-handedly.
Yeah.
And he
yeah, one
sucked
thing
as a person.
Harvey, that's what I've heard. One thing Harvey can do is get you an Oscar.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yep. Anyway, Down and Dirty Pictures is so amazing, but that has a lot of flourishes to it that can't be verified.
Okay.
It's he even says
Well, that's
like,
kind of older, right? Like this,
yes.
that was pre
Yeah.
takedown.
Oh yeah, but the things that he's talking about Harvey are already so awful that you can barely imagine
totally.
that Harvey survived these first round of allegations.
Everyone who's ever worked with him hates his guts.
Oh yeah, he's the most ruthless, awful business person. He'll try to get every single nickel he can, in any way he can. Use business tactics to just fully fuck you over in
Isn't
every way.
it Peter Jackson? Because didn't Harvey originally own Lord of the Rings?
No, he wanted Disney. I think this is after when Disney was owned by Miramax, or Miramax was owned by Disney, but they had like 49% share or whatever. But he begged them, please go get Lord of the Rings. It's going to be the biggest thing in the world, and they didn't. And New Line Cinema got it, and so he lost. And that's like one of his biggest regrets.
Okay, I know. Wasn't there like a bunch of drama about how that went down, and then they developed an orc that looked like him or something?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, everybody hates his guts. And I think I told you this off mic, but I keep getting TikToks of Tim Gunn talking about stuff. And I'm watching the new season of Project Runway, which if anyone out there is an OG Project Runway fan, the season is really good. It's all stars. So it's a bunch of people from, the past 20 years. And I'm highly entertained.
Oh, that's great.
But I keep watching all these TikToks of Tim Gunn, who always spills the tea. If you ever get a TikTok of Tim Gunn being interviewed, just watch it because he talks so much shit and it's amazing. But he said he had a massive feud with the Weinsteins, who used to produce Project Runway back in the day. And it turned out that the first guy that won, Jay, he was going through his contract with Tim Gunn. And it turned out there was a clause in it that all money he made through his design work for the rest of his life, 15% went to the Weinsteins.
Awful.
And Tim Gunn was like, you cannot sign that. Like, that's insane. And so he literally turned down the prize money and didn't take it. And there are all these other examples of stuff that the designers weren't allowed to do once they were off the show. Like, they weren't allowed to reference in their work anything that they made on the show. Like, basically anything created on the show in style or form belonged to the Weinsteins.
Wow.
And there was all these shitty things that kept people trapped. And Tim Gunn fought tooth and nail to get them all reversed. And not only moving forward, but retroactively for the many years the show had already been on. So anyways, long story short, Tim Gunn went to bat against the Weinsteins and, created an enemy with them, which I thought was awesome that he was willing to do that.
And it's good that he was outspoken about that. But I guess everybody can be outspoken about Harvey now. Like you can just tell your worst horror stories. The sad part at the end of Hollywood Ending, this is just a quick spoiler, but Harvey's in jail, obviously, or in prison or whatever. And he calls his brother Bob and he's like, Bob, we've got to sell the rights to Dogma, because the Weinstein Company still owns Dogma, and we gotta sell this thing so I can pay my legal fees from the rights to Dogma.
Like the Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah, it's like the one last
How
movie.
much is that worth?
He thinks it's he goes, this thing has never been on streaming before. This thing is going to go up like a rocket if it ever gets on streaming services. So he's holding out the rights to Dogma so that he can use it for his legal defense fund. It's like the one property left that Harvey has, and no one will buy it from him.
Wow.
So Dogma is not...
Kevin Smith should buy it.
Yeah, he should. But then he'd be giving Harvey Weinstein money.
Yeah. Well, maybe he can donate the money to
that would
abuse fund or something.
That's a good idea. Well, I'm glad we talked about Harvey for a little bit.
Harvey Scissorhands, right?
Yeah, because he would just cut 12 minutes off a movie no matter what the length was. He just always thought movies should be shorter.
Yeah.
But that's the least of what he did.
He's a real piece of work.
I hate that guy, Harvey. Who gets kind of off scot-free is Bob.
Yeah.
Bob is almost just as evil and horrific as Harvey. He just didn't have any sexual, abuse allegations against him, I guess.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
He really got the spotlight taken off him, but he's horrible in that Down and Dirty Pictures book.
Yeah. I try and not think too much about Quentin Tarantino's Blind Eye, because he was dating Mira Sorvino right? There's a
Yeah.
story in there where
Yeah.
he had to be like, leave my girl alone.
Yeah, you can't think too hard about that one, unfortunately. Yeah,
That's maybe his like biggest black mark.
He said something about it. He was just like, he just thought that Harvey was sad and pathetic, and whenever he saw him like going after girls, he just thought he was this lame loser.
Yeah.
And that's why he seemed just desperate to him, and he never had firsthand knowledge of this. But if he was dating Mia Sorvino, and she specifically said that, it's kind of not good.
A plus mark for Brad Pitt is that
yeah.
he threatened to kill him.
Oh, I love that.
On
Brad
Gwyneth
Pitt,
Paltrow's behalf.
yeah, he always had Harvey's number
Yeah.
the entire time.
That was exciting. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I want to say up front, Amy and I have a little bit of a time window here today. We normally love to, unlike Harvey Scissorhands, we like to add time to our podcast. But we're going to be down and dirty.
Yes.
And do an hour and a half because we have some obligations and...
Yeah, I'll take full responsibility. I am traveling next week. I am visiting my sister in New York City. Hopefully I run into Kyle Cook, although I assume he's in the Hamptons. But we didn't want to deal with doing a remote record. So we're going to do back-to-back action today, where today we're going to talk about all the shows that aired this week, and then we're going to do a special episode that will not include the episodes that are airing next week because I will be gone, and so you guys will just get a special, not as elongated a version as usual, which we are sorry for, but we're going to make it great for you.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be great. And if you start to get mad next week and you're like, why the hell aren't they talking about the shows that we love? Just picture Amy having fun in New York, potentially meeting Kyle Cook, Amanda.
At the Statue of Liberty.
Inside the Statue of Liberty at the very top in the crown where they barely let people go.
In the torch.
In the torch. Right. But do they let people up on the crown?
I'm going to climb her arm out to the torch.
That's amazing. Will you have someone take a photo at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty of you waving from the torch?
Yes.
Isn't that an amazing gift we received from the French?
It's pretty nice.
What? You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool too. It's huge.
Do you prefer the Arc de Triomphe?
Did we give that as a gift to them?
I don't know. What have I done? But there's a duplicate of the Arc in New York.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I like the Statue of Liberty more.
Okay.
It's a little more fun.
Yeah.
It's a huge...
What about the Eiffel Tower?
Do I like that?
Yeah.
I think I like the Statue of... Not to shade France, but I think I like the Statue of Liberty more than the Eiffel Tower.
I don't think that the French even like the Eiffel Tower.
No, they don't.
They think it's
I think
ugly.
it's very divided, but most of them don't like it. They think it's an eyesore.
Yeah. That happens in Sex and the City. There's 2 episodes in Paris when Carrie goes to live with the Russian, and he has a daughter who's French, and she's like very cool, and Carrie's like, oh my god, I just got here, I saw the Eiffel Tower and it has like glittering lights, and his daughter is like smoking a cigarette and she's like, it's hideous. Hideous.
Oh my god. The French...
And she's like, oh yeah, I hate it too.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's how they feel. For the most part,
Yeah.
French people don't like it.
Yeah.
But what
whatever.
What the hell do French people like?
Freaking wine and cheese.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's pretty good.
Wait, they are awesome.
They live right.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Okay, well, is there any topics we wanted to cover up top? I know that there was a breaking news story about Tom Sandoval this morning.
Yeah, we found out right after we got done solidifying this as a business. We had a huge alert on our Bravo-centric one of our devices, and it said that Tom Sandoval, he competed in that Fox show called Special Forces World's Toughest Test, and it's a bunch of celebrities. I guess you'd have to call them that. Jojo Siwa, Nick Vial,
Black
China, Tom Sandoval. They compete in a test that, like, I think Special Forces do.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the training to be in the Special Forces. They make celebrities like Jojo Siwa go through it, and you're not allowed to bring anything because in Special Forces you can't bring chocolate.
They strip you down.
Yeah, you can't bring candy bars. You can't bring what else?
Cigarettes.
You can't bring cigarettes. You can't bring anything. And Tom Sandoval, he thought that he should do this. He brought photos of Raquel to give him strength during this time. They say that's what Nick Vial said.
They've been through hell together.
So do you think it was kind of like, this is what I'm doing it for, baby?
I mean, I feel like all of our grandpappies in World War II had a picture of their gal in their canteen. No?
No, mine did. His high school sweetheart.
Don't you think?
Yeah. So you think special forces should be allowed to have one photo of a significant other or a loved one?
I think.
I think so too.
You know what you're fighting for.
That's really sweet, and I fully
Rachel's
changed.
freedom.
Yeah, I changed what I thought about this. They all should have brought a significant one. You would get one little personal item like on Survivor.
Yeah.
And it's just the one thing you want to bring. And the one thing he brought was something he knew would make him the strongest man in the world. And that was his love for Raquel.
Yeah.
It's actually a beautiful story, right?
Yeah, we've turned right around. I did like in the promo, it's a very intense promo. And at one point they flash and Tom has blood on his face.
Yeah, what do you think
And
happened?
he says, I want to be punished.
Yeah. He wants to be punished. I mean, yeah, that was interesting. How do you think he got a bloody nose?
I don't know. Do you think he like smacked his face on like a climbing wall?
I think it's probably the least like dramatic thing you can think of. Like he fell down at the start of one of the runs and he just biffed his nose a little bit.
I mean,
You don't think it was from kissing Raquel's photo too
oh my
much, do you?
God. He was smashing his face into it.
I mean, I get bringing a photo of a loved one to
framed it and then kept like smashing his face into the frame until it broke.
I hope, well, like we said, it's beautiful that he brought a photo of her to inspire him and make him stronger, but I hope he wasn't kissing it so hard that it busted his nose.
That would be hard to see.
Well, maybe I don't really want to watch that full show, no offense to the Fox network, but maybe we get to see exactly how that happened, and that's the one clip we see.
Yeah. I never made it around to watching Stars on Mars, but I was intrigued and I just never did. And I'm also intrigued by this upcoming show, but I don't know if I have the strength to make it through.
I feel like the Stars on Mars chatter died down after like 2 weeks and no one talked about it.
Yeah.
Like it was like very Schwartz-centric and people were like, this is actually really fun. And then after 2 weeks or like 2 or 3 episodes, I never heard anybody talk about it again.
Yeah. Our friend Mariana's watching it and she keeps telling me about it and it sounds crazy. Apparently it's like they have cycled in new talent so there are some stars that have been there already for a long time and they've already lost their minds because, you know, the food is rationed. They can't leave that room.
Yeah.
There's one bathroom. So all the stars that have already been there are like crazed.
Yeah.
And then they bring in new talent who's like, this will be fun. And everyone else that's there is
It's like, this
feral.
sucks. Yeah.
So
They should have had like a HAL 9000 or whatever type thing, you know, that was just like messages from the producer that they could type in and then the robot or computer interface would say things like it was an Android.
Andy Richter's like, let me out. And they're like, we can't do that, Andy.
Exactly. Is Andy Richter on it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I think he
Wow.
was one of the new recruits.
That seemed like it had better talent than World's Toughest Test Special Forces.
Yeah.
Portia,
Yeah.
Schwartz, Andy Richter, Lance Armstrong. Yeah.
Who apparently was saying some problematic stuff in the space station.
Do you think he still does that thing where he injects himself with fresh oxygenated blood?
Probably. I mean, he can do whatever he wants now, right? Because he's not, you know, he's not under the rules of.
Did you read that thing in the New York Times where they said that old mice injected with young mice's blood live 9 years longer?
Wow.
So the secret
Wait,
to
just like a transfusion?
yes,
Just a regular.
so billionaires apparently I think are already doing this, like
Okay.
Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. What's another billionaire?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. These people go into these like chambers and they get fully young blood injected into like I think you have to do it in your ass,
Oh.
but
Not intravenously. Just like into your body from any point.
they prefer the ass because it's easier for it's a huge needle of young blood that goes
Okay.
into it. But anyway, if that's true, the secret to longevity and aging is just injecting ourselves with youthful blood.
Okay.
So vampires,
What about adrenochrome?
what's that?
It's like that baby hormone that Hillary Clinton sucks out of babies in the Pizzagate basement.
She does that?
That's what I've heard.
I didn't think Pizzagate was about sucking the life force from babies. I thought it was like,
More like trafficking.
yeah.
Okay.
What'd you hear on?
Well, I've heard about adrenochrome.
Oh, okay. Is that are we on the same QAnon forum? Because mine talked about
Maybe there's like different versions.
Oh, okay.
But
No, this was New York Times. Just so you know, I'm not. This
Okay.
isn't QAnon.
I mean, that sounds good to me. There is something called a vampire facial that
Right.
I have. I haven't gotten that. I've gotten something close to it, but I haven't done the blood part
Yeah.
where you get your blood drawn. They, whatever it's called, spin it around until it's the plasma,
Oh my god.
and then they spread your own plasma all over your face and microneedle it into your face.
You haven't done that?
I've done the microneedling, but not the plasma part. But I would consider it.
Okay.
I don't think I quite need it yet, but once I do, I will. It's expensive though.
Do you want to do an all-in-one young blood
Yeah.
and then vampire facial?
I would love that. I mean, imagine what I would look like.
Isn't it weird that like the thing that almost like any like non-scientists like almost like caveman-esque idea of like young blood in my blood would
Yeah.
make me young. That's a
Yeah.
caveman talking.
Yeah. I mean, it
and
makes
it's like,
sense to me.
Whoa, wait, that actually is possible? I mean, this is in mice, but they do
Yeah.
most tests on mice, you
Poor
know?
mice.
So it's like so sad. I think they just create mice like in labs or whatever, so that it's not an actual
He doesn't
mouse
have a
with
soul. Mm-hmm.
a soul. Yeah, it's a cloned mouse with no
That's-
soul.
I mean, that's a big Blade Runner type question there.
Are they?
Do they have a soul?
Yeah. All right.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Oh my God, the original title of the Blade Runner book.
Yes.
Right. All right. Well, that was amazing. We said no tangents, but for some reason there were just a couple.
Only 20 minutes.
So do you want to talk about what I consider to be a horrendous episode of Bravo television?
I knew you were going to. This was maybe. We're talking about RHONY, right?
Yes. Well, how'd you know?
Do you think this was the worst of the three?
2 was so bad to me. I said it. It
Yeah.
was dog shit. I thought it was so slow and boring. This was just a continuation of the level of
Right.
quality for me. No merit. And the only actual more negative thing I can say about it is that it really made Bryn look like a complete flop, which I had
Yeah.
hopes that Bryn was going to come and save it, and that's why they were low energy and so boring or whatever. But Bryn, I mean, do you want to get into it?
Sure.
Okay. Just high level, Bryn comes in and she immediately manufactures, I think, the worst drama I've ever seen, like recently in Bravo history,
Yeah.
where she tries to create this wedge between Aaron and Jenna and say that Aaron should treat Jenna, or that, how do you even explain it? Aaron
Yeah,
should treat
she thinks
Jenna-
there's a double standard between Bryn ditching their catch reservation
Right.
and Jenna going home to sleep in her own house. And she would not let it go, even though no one was accepting it as making any sense.
Right.
That drama in both cases had blown over, so who cares?
Yes.
And it's like, well, you weren't here. She actually did make a stink about Jenna leaving, but she apologized and they got over it the same way you guys got over it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. She says I was burned at the stake for what I did, and it was like, no, Aaron forgave you after one sit down, and you guys
Right.
were completely fine. So it was just her coming in and trying to grasp, at a dramatic strand, and no one gave it to her. It was just she was completely.
Everyone
on her-
was so confused. And then she kept trying to come up with a version of, oh my God, there's like a military helicopter outside
Do you think it's
right
because
now.
we found the secret to youth?
Yeah, they're going to come drop in the special forces.
Oh my God, Jojo Siwa, Nick Vial,
Sandoval.
Tom Sandoval.
They're going to kick in my door.
Oh my God.
I don't know why I always comment when a helicopter or an alarm or something happens, because when I listen back, the listener can never hear it, and
Yeah.
I've just wasted 30 seconds talking about it. But
It's okay. I think it's good to know that special forces could have potentially come in.
exactly. But yeah, Bryn was like, it's like I stepped on your dog's paw versus shooting your dog. And everyone was like, what?
Yeah. Oh my God. Everybody's just like, I don't understand this at all. She completely lost. Like, everyone is just like, move on, Bryn. Like, I
Yeah.
thought it was very bad. I thought it showed very bad instincts on Bryn's part.
Yeah.
To try to make a mountain out of a molehill. Something
Totally.
very dumb. And I also thought the
yeah.
entire, just to get more granular, just the whole Jenna leaving, like, she was already in her room.
Yeah.
The start of the episode, we find out that Jenna didn't really want to party with everyone.
Yeah.
And that's giving it a lot to say that they were partying. When you
Yeah.
watch that footage, it's just like Erin has her shirt up. She's just dancing by herself. It doesn't look even remotely fun. Did it to you?
10:30 p.m. It really was giving. They were trying to show that they were having a good time, but
Yes.
they even said they went to bed like an hour later.
Yeah, it gave... They were not having fun at all, but they wanted to be performative for the camera. Jenna is getting blasted with music, and she was already in her room, so she thought she could just go to her place that's pretty close,
Yeah.
and then come back in the morning and no one would care.
Yeah.
But then...
I think it was more what my take on it was that they were all pissed that Jenna got to not, like, she didn't have to be there and they all had to be there.
But if you go, basically your sleeping hours, like if you just consider Jenna in her room and gone,
Yeah.
and then she comes right when you guys wake up,
Yeah.
do you think you should still be upset that she didn't have to sleep there physically?
I mean, I feel like if we're talking about the show, like, on one hand, I'm like, yeah, who cares? You guys are there for work. On the other hand, one thing housewives are very sensitive about is if I have to do it, you have to do it.
Yeah.
But I think in real life, I would be annoyed if someone did that.
You would?
I'd be like, the whole point is for us to be together.
Okay, I think because I'm not enjoying RHONY, I was sort of not giving them the benefit of the doubt about this, because I thought Uba saying she was really upset by this, by Jenna
I mean, they were
leaving.
milking it. Like, you would get over it. You'd just be like, whatever, dude. But I think it would also depend on the history of the person.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. But it's like, I don't know. Yeah, Jenna's just like, it seems like everyone is, you know, with them trying to make her dress differently or like talk about sex or whatever. I feel like it's more that they're like, join us.
Yes.
Like, be like us.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas
totally.
like she has a wall up and is like, I'm a cool over here.
Yeah, but so I like that Jenna disobeys the conventions of Housewives franchises.
Yeah.
Which is one of the stipulations is that we all stay together and no one can leave because it affects the dynamic or whatever. But if you just treat Jenna like she doesn't know what the hell she's doing and she just thinks she can do normal things that she normally would
Yeah.
do, I didn't see at all the fervor. If
Yeah.
I was just ignoring the conventions of these franchises that no one leaves on trips, I would just say that they were completely milking this for
Totally.
dramatic purposes.
Yeah.
And I just knowing them and knowing how they act, I just know they wanted to run with this dramatic moment. Just like how they're complaining all the time, just like how this is now the third episode in a row where they're playing a sex-related game at the table, the two truths.
I
and
know.
I can't believe it. It's been
know.
3 episodes, and every single episode they've had to tell a sexual fact
I
about
know.
themselves. It is shocking.
I know.
They have not had one fun moment.
Yeah.
That was not a contrived housewife
Yeah.
convention.
I also like every single truth and a lie was sex related, which technically isn't necessary. You could say, I pooped my pants.
Yes.
I
Yes. Yeah, I pooped my pants.
I don't know.
No, and I pooped my
What
pants.
are some other
It could've been-
examples?
no, you're right. No, it could have been fully poop your pants.
But they're all like, I did a reverse cowgirl on a
Senator.
a Sikh.
Yeah. And then I did a reverse cowboy on a governor. And then I
I put a
fucking this-
popsicle up my pussy.
Yeah, it was in I don't even know why they all thought they had to be sexual related.
Right. I think it was like once the first person did it, then everyone was just like, I guess that's what we're doing. And then Jenna, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No,
but
no.
by
No,
the
we
time
should
they
jump
get to
ahead.
Jenna, her sexual stories are like, a man fell asleep on top of me,
Yes.
which is actually kind of funny that her versions were so depressing. It was either that she fell asleep, that someone fell asleep, or what was the third one? It was
she
I
didn't
think
say
I
that
wrote
she
it down.
She didn't say she had sex in an adventurous place. I forget what her other one was.
Yeah. It was sex in a movie theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they all like did that. Like they all made people think where they had sex.
Right.
I found out the senator's office that
You did?
yeah, Chuck Grassley's. Do you know him?
That sounds familiar. Who is that?
He's this guy. He's like 89 years old. I think he's a Republican
Wait,
senator.
she had sex just in his office, not with him.
I was just kidding. He's just, if anybody wants to look up Chuck
Well,
Grassley.
she did donate to Stop the Steal.
Yes. Did you hear her excuse for that?
What was her excuse?
She said, God damn it, my credit card got used. She said, I have vocal family members who are very pro-Israel, and Trump at that time was very pro-Israel. So right after the election, we donated once on behalf of my family or something, I think she said. And then she goes, and God damn it all, if it doesn't just make your credit card have multiple, like, what's that called? Multiple auto payments, recurring payments?
Yeah.
But then
Didn't
you look
he get like sued for that old people,
Yes.
the way that they set up their payment
Yes.
system was like defrauding.
The auto pay button was
Yeah.
not clear at all. It's
Yeah.
one of those things which it's not on a lot of websites, but I think there's legal
Yeah.
ramifications now to not making that opt in.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Automatic,
Auto payments.
yeah.
So a bunch of people were given recurring payments, but the way her payments were set up, I feel like it was like on January or no. It was like 11/9, 11/10, whenever the
Right.
election was. I don't even remember.
It
was
wasn't like monthly.
But also, if that's it could be true because I don't fully know if Trump Stop the Steal, whatever that organization, would be so stupid that they wouldn't make auto payments happen daily. Like, who
Right.
knows? Like, it could have been the
Exactly.
biggest scam in the world.
Totally.
But whatever. I mean, definitely scrutiny.
Well,
should
that's
be applied.
interesting that because we brought this up before that other housewife that got booted, her, drama was around Israeli issues. So now I'm like dying to know if, what that, because like we said before, the drama was with Bryn, but I'm like, if Aaron's family is super pro-Israel, then like
Yeah.
shit must have gone down.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were in cahoots.
What do you think
I don't
Andy
know.
thinks about this new revelation?
Yeah, he did not. I don't think he wants anything raining on his RHONY parade at all.
Unfortunately, there's been a ratings update. First episode, the premiere, 700,000.
Okay.
Not very respectable, but okay. Second episode, 500,000. The biggest drop in RHONY history between episodes. The biggest drop, 25%. Next episode, 425,000. So people are tuning out, dropping off like, what's that phrase? Flies? Each week.
Dropping like flies.
Dropping. Is it? Yeah, dropping like flies. So that's not good. I mean, at a certain point, if they stay at the 400,000, I think that's the lowest rated Housewives show that's on Bravo. I'm pretty sure. Because
Like
is
ever
Miami,
or right now?
right now is
Okay.
Miami on Peacock? Is Miami a Peacock exclusive?
That's the thing. It was,
And then it got
but I think it's regular now.
okay. That has really low ratings too. But
Okay.
I don't know if it's because people go to Peacock and they don't watch it on
Right,
Bravo or
right.
whatever. But anyway, I heard something where it was like those would be
But
drastically
yeah,
low for Housewives.
do you think
franchise.
that now the Housewives numbers are so different because probably so many people do watch on Peacock? Because historically it wasn't available anywhere else.
They must have internal metrics from Peacock. No streaming service has to give any of their metrics away. It's like the golden.
Tell me about it.
You knew that? Yeah.
Netflix is so full of shit.
Oh. They're fully lying. All those.
They're always like, 1 million minutes watched
Yeah.
or like whatever.
Oh,
like,
Extraction was the biggest movie ever. It the biggest box office contender if you actually counted our minutes watched or whatever. Yeah, they're completely lying.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to eventually. Streaming services are gonna have to, because if this residuals thing happens,
they're gonna have to. It's gonna have to be clear.
Yeah, they should have to give their metrics.
Yeah.
They can't
It's
just
a public
lie.
service.
Yeah. So I don't
Publicly traded.
Right. Totally. So I don't know if Peacock fucks up numbers, but we know from Vanderpump Rules that live numbers are still very
Important.
important because Vanderpump Rules fucking killed
Totally.
on numbers.
Yeah. What was it, like 10 million or something? Like
yeah.
crazy.
Highest watched, I forget what it was, highest watched Bravo show like in 10 years or
Yeah.
something, back when numbers.
Yeah, no one watches regular TV anymore.
Yeah.
But that was like event television where you had to watch it at 9 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas Housewives, I'm like, I'll watch it the next
Yeah.
day or whatever.
So that sort of bleeds into a little bit of news I wanted to tell you that I just told you off mic. But so Ultimate Girls Trip, they have 2 seasons in the can. The
Yeah.
first season that was supposed to come out was the Morocco trip, and it had Alex McCord,
Mm-hmm.
Caroline Manzo, Brandy,
Yeah.
Glanville. I think I forget who else, but it was like Ex-Wives Club again. I almost think Dorinda went on it too.
Okay.
But anyway,
Ya
then,
Habibi.
huh?
Ya Habibi.
Yes. And then they filmed Ultimate Girl Trip RHONY Legacy just recently.
Yeah.
So that was going to come out way later, but they just switched the order. So RHONY Legacy is going to come out first, and then Morocco is going to come out later. And people are wondering if it's, first of all, that Crappy Lake is doing so well. It's like the second most watched, I think, Bravo Peacock exclusive show or whatever. Or if they're also trying to say, like, guess what? The original RHONY cast is coming back sooner than you think because the RHONY ratings for the new cast are completely tanking. Like, I don't know, but there must be some justification for why you would.
Yeah. Do you think there's any part of it that is the drama between Caroline and Brandy?
It's very possible that the footage from season 4, what would have been season 4, was so compromised from this, it's a legitimate sexual, what is that, assault allegation?
Yeah.
I mean,
What did she do? She like grabbed her?
I think what I would assume is that Brandy drunkenly was assuming that she could have one of those moments, like, I don't know if you watch Ultimate Girl Trip season 2, where she's like giving lap dances to people, kissing people, like really being flirtatious and wild. That's what Brandy likes to do when she's drunk.
Yeah.
I feel like she pulled a moment like that with Caroline Manzo, who does not at all, want that, which is fully reasonable.
Right.
I think Brandy just went too far.
I mean, yeah, it's like one of those things where I am, I think sloppy behavior is funny. Like Crappy Lake, they're pretty, just outrageous and whatever. And I think it's fun to watch. But with Brandy, it's like so dark, like has a dark cast over it. Like where you're just like, are you okay?
Yeah, like when she slapped Lisa.
That was terrible. I feel like we've talked about that like 30 times. We're always like, unbelievable.
It was a shocking moment.
Her throwing wine on Eileen.
Yeah, that was bad too. She has something.
We're just like, read the room. You can act that way with certain people in certain ways, but she has no ability to judge whether it's going to be so taken so poorly.
I felt so bad for Eileen.
I know.
Too.
She literally cried.
Yeah, it was so sad.
Who else was there? Was it Lisa?
Was Yolanda there?
Oh, maybe it was Yolanda. And Yolanda was like, are you kidding me?
Yolanda was like, I like to have fun, but I don't play games.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay, well.
Okay, anyways. Also, did you know that there's a third Hadid sister?
What?
I just saw a group photo of the sisters. The third Hadid, I forget her name. She just turned 40.
Oh, so
So she must be from a previous.
Oh.
She's not a Yolanda.
Oh, okay.
Birthed,
No, I never.
But
Oh, wow.
she looks like them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that at all.
Didn't know.
That's kind of fun.
I wonder if we watched the show carefully, we would know that.
At like one of Muhammad's birthdays,
Yeah.
I'm sure we saw that daughter.
You're right.
You think Muhammad's okay?
I'm sure he's just fine.
I want to go to that secret room that he had.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you think
the fuck bedroom?
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever get invited to a Muhammad party?
I would love to, with like a camel out front.
I would love that so much. I would immediately go into that bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just go right through the front door, immediately make him show me where the Moroccan room was.
Yeah.
And then go through that secret tapestry.
Me too.
Yeah.
I would say, can you excuse me for 1 second? I need to use your toilet.
Yeah.
And then while he's not looking, he's assuming that I'm going to the bathroom. I'd start punching the walls and pulling out the books that lead to that secret entrance.
It's reminding me of, I just rewatched in honor of Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, nice.
And there's are you familiar?
I didn't want to say it, but I've never seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
You gotta watch it.
I will.
I wish I'd told you like 2 days ago, because you could have watched it free on my Apple account, because I rented it.
Oh, that's
it's
sweet.
Unavailable for streaming. But anyways, he's looking for his bike that gets stolen, and he goes to a fortune teller who is just making shit up, and she says that his bike is at the Alamo. And he's like, wow. And she's like, in the basement. And so he finds his way to the Alamo, and he's like, where's the basement? And now it's like a thing, apparently, the Alamo posted after he died, that like every single day people ask where the basement is.
That's so fun. I went to the Alamo.
You did?
I didn't know that ultimately
Looked boring
that's where
as fuck.
Huh?
Looked boring as fuck.
What, the Alamo?
You were excited about it?
The Alamo?
Sorry, Texans.
Wait, no, I think it looks cool. Wait, did it look dumb in the movie? Does he go to the Alamo?
What is there to look at?
You go in there and you reenact The Last Stand. Everyone died.
Okay.
We were trying
you have to drop to the ground.
Yeah. No, yeah, they come in, the people who run the Alamo, they pretend like they're killing you, and you go on the ground, you'd be dead for a little bit.
Are there mannequins in there?
Yes, dead. Yeah, they wear a bunch of the clothes from the people that got massacred
But
there.
you thought it was fun?
I loved it.
Oh my God. I'm going to go right now. Bye.
So, well, just to
Okay.
get back to RHONY,
Yeah.
do you agree with me? I feel like I don't want to force my goddamn opinion on you. Did you think this was a stinker like I did?
No, it was boring. I think they're putting way too many eggs in the basket of this trip. There's nothing to do. They just keep going out to eat or eating at the house. And I'm like, how long do we have to be here?
It's like we're there with them in real time the
Yeah.
entire time. The workout was so boring. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was boring. Then they're trying to make a big deal about the shakshuka, and everyone keeps making jokes about not knowing how to say shakshuka. And I'm
my
like,
God.
you bitches have been to brunch enough times. You know what that is. Okay,
Yeah,
stop it.
For sure. Oh, the lamest thing ever was when they started to get mad at Jenna that they couldn't make shakshuka because she was gone. Like, they had to abide by Jenna's rules, and they
Right.
couldn't change anything. She's like, you guys are adults.
Yeah,
Do whatever the fuck.
make breakfast if you want breakfast. You freak.
That to me was so lame that
Yeah.
they were trying to blame that on her too. Like, they
Right.
couldn't make breakfast without her. They have no fun streak and they're not friends.
Yeah,
and they're
then
too worried
the
about
complaints aren't fun in the
No.
way that Ramona being a psycho and complaining is. It's
No.
just like Jessel being like, it's cold, I
No.
can't connect to the Wi-Fi. I'm like, I don't care. And then Uba was being extra with the trainers, that she was horny for the trainer, which fine, whatever. And then when Brynn arrives, she's wearing a sweatsuit and a baseball cap and a fur coat. And Uba said, Brynn showed up in the Hamptons like a pimp. She said, that is not the Hamptons. That is Mississippi down in the river. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, in Mississippi, they wear fur coats?
I mean, I thought it, but I didn't want to say it. Mississippi down in the river. I have no clue what she was talking about.
I kind of liked the look of a sweatsuit with a fur coat. I thought it was sort of, I don't know, giving mob wife woken up in the middle of the night by the feds.
Okay.
Kind of liked it.
That's cool. Okay. Like if Carmela had been awoken at
Yeah.
a certain point and she put on that fur coat that Tony bought her that one time.
Yeah. And remember they had all those the built-ins in their house had
Yeah.
guns
Yeah.
in them. That was cool.
Yeah. In the first episode, in the pilot, they show Meadows sneaking in, and Carmela thinks it's like an FBI raid or it's like a rival gang or whatever.
Right.
And she brings a AK-47 out and points it at Meadow. And then nothing like that ever happens again. It was
Right.
fully just for the pilot, just
Yeah,
spice of the
make
pilot.
it fun.
Carmela would never do that.
No.
Hold an AK-47 and point it at Meadow.
No.
Okay.
And then when they all get dressed to go out, they're all super overdressed. It's
And they're all wearing
dumb.
khaki.
Yeah.
So they didn't know what khaki was and could not which I don't care about outfits ever, but
Yeah.
they couldn't coordinate and do this for her party, for Jenna's party.
Yeah.
And then it's like they realized that khaki was cool because Jenna talked about it, and they all bought a bunch of khaki
Yeah, all
stuff.
4 of them were wearing it. And then Uba was like, in the Hamptons, you bring it, which isn't true. I'm like, what are you guys misunderstanding about? Again, I feel like I keep being the rich person interpreter, which I am not in that lifestyle, but I've watched so many things about people living that way. Andy Cohen is wearing sweat shorts and flip-flops
Yeah.
in the Hamptons.
Oh, yeah.
Jenna Lyons is correct.
Yes.
That's where the rich go to relax. When they go out to lunch, everyone in the restaurant's wearing a hoodie.
Yes, I know.
I'm like, what are you talking about? It's
Yes.
just making them look like losers.
Yeah, they do look like losers. Did you think it was weird, kind of like a weird teen movie when they all tried to make Jenna look hot? When they
Yes.
brought her into the room and they were
Yeah.
like, put
I'm
on
surprised
this.
they didn't make her take her glasses
Take
off.
off your glasses. Put your hair down.
Yeah.
And Jenna does that. I thought that was weird.
It was
Jenna
weird.
doesn't need to dress.
She's literally a fashion icon.
right.
Everyone around the world knows her for what she wears specifically.
I
That's the
can't-
only reason you know who she is
Yeah.
because of what she wears.
They're being so weird and conflicted around Jenna. I don't get it. They want to either make fun of her like she's an easy target and call her like a grandma,
Granny, yeah.
but they also have so much reverence for her and don't want to upset her. It's like they're treating her
Yeah.
very weirdly.
I think that it's because she doesn't really want to play along. And so her being casually dressed is a little bit of a wall, like, because they're all part of how they're having fun together is like dressing up, and she's like, I don't need to do that, I'm gonna wear this. And then when they talk about like sex and like dick, she's like, I'm gay, it's not really like that, I'll be over here,
Right.
and you know, I'm gonna be in my house over here. Like,
Yes.
she's just kind of like, every category of her life is separate
Yes.
from how they're operating. So I
Right.
think they're just like, can you do anything together with us? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yes. But I feel like, I think we said it last week, but I just feel like they are all so trained on like Housewives
Yeah.
conventions, and Jenna is not abiding by those rules.
Yeah.
And I just wish all of them didn't abide by any rules. I wish Uba would have said, I'm leaving too. This
Yeah.
house sucks. I'm really cold.
Yeah.
And then they actually have to fight about something that's actually stems from how they feel.
Right.
Everything they're fighting about now is what they feel like they should be fighting about as part of a Housewives cast member. You know,
Right.
the rules of a cast member. I
Yeah.
like that Jenna is doing weird stuff that they think is weird. You know, that we need
Yeah.
more of that.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I mean, even I'm getting the vibe almost like Jessel is kind of, I don't know. I almost feel like after their conversation about the lingerie again this time, I'm like, maybe Jessel's weird too. Like, maybe the lingerie thing wasn't for the show. Maybe she's just like weird.
Yeah, so it was confirmed that was a Jenna gift, which
Okay.
remember we were like kind of speculating,
Yeah.
is that like a production
Yeah, yeah.
element or whatever? But it legitimately was from a designer that Jenna knows.
Right.
So that thing was
So
being
it, like,
lambasted.
right.
So,
Yeah.
and then Jessel's apology, she clearly still does not understand why anyone would take offense to that.
Yeah.
So that does have, there is some merit to Jessel being very
She was
weird
like,
and mean.
I see your point. She was like, I'd be happy to exchange it for something that's more my style. And I'm like,
Right.
that's not on the table.
Right.
It's not like a gift receipt situation. It's a gift. And then she tried to be funny and was like, you would think I kidnapped the Pope and held him hostage. And I was like, stop right there. Don't try and be funny. It's not working for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lame analogy or whatever.
But
reference.
yeah, she thought that she was being funny, but
Yes.
she wasn't. And then in the preview for next week, the first look is her fighting with her husband.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're going down.
Yeah, they they want Jessel for that. They know
Yeah.
they know when a marriage is on its last legs, I think, and so they're
Yeah.
definitely utilizing Jessel for that. I don't know if it's going to be enough to bring this franchise up in quality. I will say I'll give credit where credit's due. Aaron at that lunch saying right to Bryn's face that I like Jenna more than you, I thought was brave and
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
That was like not, I wouldn't think that they would have the, the bravery to say that to another cast member, but she just said straight up, I like Jenna more than you, which I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah, she was like, what do you want me to tell you? Sorry.
I guess I like Jenna more than you. I was like, damn, all right. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Also, Aaron ordered a Bloody Mary with tequila, which I guess sometimes that's called a Bloody Maria, right? Have you heard of that?
Is it? I think I would prefer a Bloody Mary with
That's what
tequila
I'm saying.
than
I think
vodka.
that's going to be my new thing.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds like tequila would blend a little better with the ingredients in a Bloody Mary than, because I hate vodka. I think we've
Yeah,
talked about
me
this.
too.
Let's
Yeah.
get a Bloody Mary with tequila when we go to Vegas.
Yeah,
Or whatever
I'm
the
down.
hell next we do.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I wrote that down specifically so that I would order that in the future. And let's see. Yeah.
I mean, really not much. Like I said, Bryn dropped like so much in my estimation based off what she tried to bring to this episode in
Yeah.
terms of fake drama. I couldn't believe it. I thought the flirting with Aaron's husband on the phone was so performative. She's like,
Yeah.
Abe the babe. Is that Abe? Oh my God, let me talk to him. Oh my God, he's so cute. I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, it was
she
so
was
annoying.
flashing her titties at the table.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's like I thought that she could have possibly been the saving grace. Now I'm firmly in the camp that Jenna is by far the best cast member. But even her on like old RHONY, if like she was added to that cast, she'd be the least entertaining on old RHONY, even though
Yeah.
she's the best cast member on new RHONY. And that's a really bad sign. You know what I mean?
yeah. Did you think that Bryn was being performative when she was struggling to open the fridge?
Yeah, I was almost going to say the answer is yes, just before you even said it. And yes, she tried Siri and Alexa 3 or 4 times because she couldn't open it.
Well, the thing was, I understand being confused the first time, but then she pushed to open, like it was like a click stop, like whatever that's called. But then when she went back to the fridge, she yet again couldn't figure it out. And I was like, but you already opened it before.
Yeah, that was not good. Everything that they think they're giving off, like the petty, silly, funny, I don't know, chaotic, all of those notes are just hitting wrong, in my opinion. This just cast is not gelling, and there is not one moment, like I said at the start, that I saw them actually having fun, real fun together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they have not done, like, they just don't know each other very well.
Right. Did you like the Sai opening up bit?
I did, just to know a little bit more about Sai. Sai, so far, I haven't really, like, I don't dislike her. I don't love her, but I did like her observation that only rich people like the dollar store.
Yeah.
That is an interesting observation to me.
I thought of Bethany because on TikTok she loves going to the Dollar Tree and just buying hundreds of dollars of stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me that if like that was your store that you regularly had to go to buy stuff, that you wouldn't like it once you got wealthy. So I thought that was like interesting. And Jenna and Aaron seemed to like really listen to her.
Yeah.
I like knowing more about her, but that's not.
It was interesting. Like I was like, oh, that's a cool story, but everyone was acting like she was raised in like utter squalor.
Yeah, they were giving her too much reverence.
I was like, I mean, a lot of people like grow up that way, like that's cool that she worked her way up, but
yeah,
I mean, they were all like, where do you get your strength?
Yes.
It's like, I mean, it didn't sound that bad.
Right. And I also wish it wasn't like an info dump where we just had to listen to a story for 5 minutes. I wish that would have been more organic, and we would have heard bits and pieces of that story as we got to know her, instead of just like, here's my whole story. Listen to it now. Because there wasn't enough fun moments of the episode to justify that being the only entertaining aspect of the episode, because I do like to get to know them. Yeah. But the whole episode was just so boring and bad that that's not going to be the saving grace of this episode.
That would have been good if I feel like usually that person would have gotten lunch with another housewife that they didn't know very well, and that's how they forged a connection, because she, in the confessional, they would be like, Sai really opened up to me at lunch about her upbringing, and it made me feel close to her. But it was just for everybody, so it was like, whatever.
Yeah. Brynn tried to take a little piece of it too. She like kind of interrupted.
She was like, I was poor too.
Yeah. I also had a birth story. So ultimately you thought this was boring, right?
Yeah. It looks like next week, Jessel calls Sai and Aaron cackling hags, which I'm interested in.
Do you think that's sort of like maybe a translation from like a British expression, like you call people hags?
She's gonna be like, I was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like mad about it, and it's gonna be boring.
Yeah, that sounds boring. Oh man, and in the trailer when Uba says that thing, like in the trailer to promote the season, they had Uba going, man, you think you know Jessel, but then she'll say something that will just completely blow your mind. They were like saving that Jessel moment, and then for it ultimately just to be this stupid popsicle story. Yeah. That was the equivalent of, oh, Jessel's so crazy. It's like that flopped so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think? Like, do you think if the ratings continue,
what are they gonna do?
I mean, I think Andy has to do a full blown mea culpa, and at the end and say, hey, we are integrating new RHONY with old RHONY, and we're seeing survival of the fittest. Who makes it? Obviously, the old RHONY will kick the new RHONY to the curb completely, but maybe Jenna stays, maybe Uba stays. I no longer want Brynn to stay.
Wow, she blew it.
She blew it. Don't you think she blew it? I mean, she every instinct she had to be a fun organic cast member, I feel like she blew it in this episode. I thought.
Yeah, it's so complicated of how to move forward. I'm stressed out on Andy's behalf.
I think, I mean, he's fully responsible for this. He claimed credit for this, and now the ratings are bad. Everyone loves Crappy Lake. They're pushing RHONY Legacy up. It's like the world wants old RHONY back in such a way. And the only favorable, like, people saying positive stuff about this are like those payola Bravo Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
Like no one is being actually positive. If you look at the comments, there will be like 5 that are pinned that are like, this is the best show I've ever seen. Reboot every franchise. And then when you look in the comments more, it'll be like, this sucks so bad.
So I'm trying to think. I listened to a few other podcasts, not Bravo ones, but RHONY comes up, and I feel like certain people are engaged with it. Like I was listening to one where they were saying, it's such classic Housewives that, to be like complaining at the house or whatever. And I'm like, but yeah, there's a difference between trying to recreate what we know to be the Housewives standard and for it to just hit the way it organically does.
They're like the example I always use is there's such a difference between Luann complaining about being in the fish room at Dorinda's house. There's so much earned investment in that complaining because we know Luann hates it. We've been there before.
Yeah.
We know why Luann would hate it because she's like classy and she doesn't want to stay there, whatever. It's like, it's so fun that the rare occasions they complain because we know them so well. It's way too early for them to be treating Aaron like this for these petty complaints. So that was a full flop strategy in my opinion. I don't even associate complaining as one of the top 10 attributes of a Housewives franchise of what makes it good. I never have associated complaining with that.
No. It's specifically usually just like Sonia and Ramona running to their room and being annoying, but that's them specific. On Watch What Happens After this episode, it ties into Atlanta as well. It was Sai and Kenya. It was pretty good. Sai says, that Jessica was being a brat about the lingerie, and Andy was like, well, did you think it looked good? And she was like, it didn't look the greatest. And I was like, LOL, that she couldn't even pretend that it looked good. But, and then Kenya was like, maybe Aaron has a septic system and that's why she can only have one ply.
But we didn't hear that Aaron only had one ply.
I know. It wasn't like established.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
And then they had Kenya do shade towards the following people: Marlo, Ramona, Sandoval, Kim Zolciak, and Vicky. To Marlo, she says, "You'll never be that girl." To Ramona, she says, "We don't miss you."
That's awful.
To Sandoval, she said, "You're a narcissist and you're going to have a lightly attended funeral unless you get your stuff together."
I saw that. Very, very harsh.
Kim Z, "Go to rehab."
Yeah.
Vicky, "We don't miss you."
That's awful. 2 of my favorite housewives, she said, "We don't miss you."
Sai was like freaking out, and Andy was like, "You're sitting next to a master."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was fun.
And then there was some stuff about Ramona being rude to Sai, and then Andy was like, "Have you heard from Ramona since?" And she was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, I have."
Yeah.
And he revealed that there were some text messages, and
well, it looked like Sai was dredging up drama where there wasn't any, that Ramona and her had a nice conversation and it had ended normally. So I think Sai manufactured that Ramona was rude to like justify that because it wasn't clear how Ramona.
I know, it was confusing.
Yeah.
It ended oddly.
Yes.
And then the biggest thing was that Kenya revealed that she auditioned for Kill Bill.
I know.
Can you believe?
That would have been awesome.
It was implied that it was the Vivica A. Fox role.
Andy implied that.
Yeah. Which I guess that's who it would be.
I guess. I mean, yeah, I think I like Vivica A. Fox in that role. I think I don't think Kenya could. I mean, Kenya's amazing, but I think I like the casting choice.
If I remember correctly, that character lives in, is it Carson or Gardena?
Gardena? It's possible. I'm not sure, but I remember when the bride pulls up to her house and they have that amazing fight. Like, that's her like one major scene.
Everyone was always saying that they were going to make like a spin-off of that character or something. But
yeah,
I think that bridge has sailed?
That
Ship has
bridge
sailed?
has fallen into the water and is set
That
sail.
bridge has closed.
I don't really like, I mean, not to go on a tangent, but I rewatched Kill Bill. I don't really like it that much.
I like Kill Bill 2.
Yeah, I like Kill Bill 2 more than Kill Bill 1, but overall, I just was like, I don't know. I like later era Tarantino more than I like the 3 first movies he made. Well, I love Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown's my favorite.
Yeah, Jackie Brown's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want to talk about, like, you know, we're putting our foot on the gas. Do you want to talk about OC or Atlanta first? OC?
What do you think?
Let's do OC.
Okay.
Well, I actually loved Well, no. I loved Atlanta more. So you want to
Okay.
end on a high. Which did you love more? And we'll balance it out.
Gosh.
Did you love
Well,
OC?
I thought it was okay.
Okay, I thought it was okay too. Did you love Atlanta or you thought it was okay?
I have to remind myself what happened. I'm like
Atlanta
looking
has-
through my notes.
Atlanta has sound bath.
Oh,
Atlanta
yes,
has
yes,
those
yes.
Portuguese dancers that
yeah,
come in.
the pilgrims.
It had pilgrims. It had very good dramatic moments between Drew and Marlo and Kenya
Oh,
and
right.
Courtney.
Did you notice that the episode is called Sex, Lies, and Video Phones?
Yes,
Soderbergh reference.
I love it. Let's just talk about Atlanta
Okay.
and then end with OC. Okay. Well, first off, I'll just say, I'll just say it first. I thought this Atlanta episode was very good and fun. After a few boring
Yeah.
episodes, I liked, this was the perfect balance of some conflict and resolution that I love. I
Yeah.
felt like they finally had fun in Portugal
Yeah.
together.
And there was kind of good use of the friend ofs.
Yes.
Like they were stirring the pot,
Yes.
you know?
Yes, totally.
I just wrote down, did Kenya call Marlo, because she obviously hurt herself again. She said that Mudlin Marlo, the witch doctor, put a curse on her.
Yes, that was so funny. I love Marlo and Kenya's rivalry. Because they're both so funny and they're both
Yeah.
so powerful on the show that I love that there's just this huge feud. And they don't even, it's just always simmering.
Yeah.
It never comes to a head. It will when they get
I
fights.
feel like
but
that's true for Marlo for like everybody,
Yes.
where she's just willing to throw their relationship into the toilet
Yeah.
at any given time.
Yeah. Does Marlo give you the same ethos that Nene brought in a way?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's really funny. You know, she's like great for quotables. I don't think anyone can outgoat Nene,
Right.
in my opinion, but I do like Marlo. a
Yeah,
lot.
me too. I think that there is a similar humor level.
Yeah.
I'd say Marlo is 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
One of the funniest cast members of all time. And I do like that for the most part she doesn't give a shit what she says about anyone, which is kind of like
Yeah.
Nene's MO.
I want to spoil a funny thing she says later in the episode about Drew and Ralph. She goes, "If you had the 7-year itch, why are you still scratching?"
Yeah, I love
I
it.
was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just to go through this episode. So finally, after 2 horrible days in Portugal, rainy, Kenya falls and slips. I feel like finally Kenya came back, Candy's gone, and they had the activities were actually fun that they booked. It was a sound bath, which I loved the editing of the sound bath. I
Yeah.
thought it was really fun. I mean, they've done this trope a lot where they go
Yes.
sort of acid
Yeah.
what is that? Like an acid effect?
Yeah.
They're tripping balls or
Yeah.
whatever. But I loved that they included what they were thinking in the sound bath.
Yeah.
And it was Sheree is thinking that she's loving her grandchild. Drew's thinking about all the horrible Ralph stuff that is happening. Kenya is just thinking about Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And then Marlo has the Scott Lee thing where she's like, I just can't wait to kiss Scott Lee. I just thought that was so fun. And it really felt like the sound bath impacted them. It didn't feel like they were faking their reaction to it. I felt like they actually felt unburdened after it. Did you feel that way?
I feel like that happens a lot where the housewives cry after their spiritual service they've gotten.
Yes.
But I thought it was funny that they went all the way to Portugal to get a sound bath, which they certainly could get in Atlanta.
Totally.
We can get one down the street right now.
And no one in the history, I'll say it, of Housewives has ever explained why they're on a trip more than Sheree about this Portugal trip.
Healing.
She keeps calling it a healing trip, that this is going to heal her fibroids or whatever.
Right.
And she says it any time she's asked about it. They've never had to justify a trip more. I don't know why. I don't know why Sheree feels like she has to talk about why she's doing this as much.
Yeah. Did you when Kenya, they asked what her diagnosis was at the hospital, and she said they diagnosed her with trauma.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. I mean, this just the through line of conflict this episode is that Drew was recorded. She says secretly recorded by everyone in the hotel room when Candy accused Drew of kissing LaToya. And then Sheree very pointedly says, "You're on a reality show. Assume you're being filmed all the time."
Yeah.
I mean, in her confessional, she says, "You're on a reality show. You're really concerned about being filmed."
Yeah.
And we know that when producers are not there, they encourage them to break out their phones and record any drama.
Yeah.
So Drew doesn't have a leg to stand on with
No.
this complaint at all.
Yeah. Don't they show at the beginning of the episode that Candy called Cynthia
Yes.
to confirm?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Shamia.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? She called everyone, and it was like eight people confirmed.
And then Marlo sent the video she took to LaToya.
Yes. And said, look how Drew talks about you.
She's lying on you.
Yeah, she's lying on you. And then LaToya sent that to Drew,
Yeah.
directly to Drew, and then that's how Drew
Close
found
the
out.
circle.
But when you look at the footage, Marlo's phone is just like up on a stand filming them. It'd be like, it's like exactly like this for YouTube. Also, I forget what I was going to say, but like, yeah, she was very transparent about it. You
Right.
got to know you're being filmed
Yeah.
about this. The real question is why Drew feels like she has to lie so much about this.
Right. I mean, she's clearly lying.
She's lying. I mean, we can just officially say.
Also, did you feel like she sent her a text that was very much giving Vanderpump Rules, where it was like checking in one more time to be clear, did we or did we not kiss? And she's like, no.
Just a no, not anything fun. Just no. And then Marlo is full conspiracy minded. She's like, she probably sent a cash app payment to her. She goes, that's okay. LaToya's a hustler. Get that money. I don't care at all. Like I thought that was really fun. And then what I thought was very interesting was that when Drew has to justify to Sheree why Candy is lying about this thing, because Candy is presumably Drew's friend at this point.
Yeah.
So Drew is trying to make an excuse for why Candy, her friend, would lie about her kissing a girl. And she's like, I think it's because I'm going to be in this movie. And so she's sort of prepping me for the role in this movie. It's like the worst lie I've
Yeah, it
ever
doesn't
heard.
make any
The worst
sense.
rationale for why your friend is telling the truth about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild to see.
Made no sense. Oh, also, I wanted to say I was on the 110 North yesterday, and I saw a billboard for Eva's show with Bolo. It's called All the King's Men.
Oh my God.
It's on BET.
First of all, I was going to say, I love the 110 North. That's my favorite freeway. Do
Okay.
you love the 110?
Well, I was at that part downtown trying to get to the 101, which is the worst part.
Oh, I love
You like the old
Arroyo.
school. You love a thrill then. Terrifying getting on and off.
Now that I'm used to those and I know I just don't move until it's a free, clear lane. Now
Yeah.
that I'm used to it, I love zipping up the 110.
It's not built
beautiful.
for modern times, but
Nope.
it's nice.
It's like horse and buggy days.
Totally.
But anyway, Bolo, Eva, all the King's Men.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Is it just them two on the billboard?
There's another man. It's like her flanked by men.
Eva, Bolo, someone else,
Yeah.
and they're the stars of this
I
show.
guess.
Holy shit, we need to look into that.
Yeah, I was like,
Were you okay on the 110?
yeah.
Okay.
I tried to snap a pic, but it was a digital billboard and it changed before I had a chance.
Okay. Well,
So-
that was fun.
Yes. Okay, I also liked when they were in the yurt and they were, or whatever, and talking about what they saw during the sound bath. Drew was like, I felt like my family was waiting for me. And Marlo goes, Drew, Ralph is not waiting for you. He is in Vegas on the strip.
Yes. Yes. And then also, Drew reveals when they ask if they're still in couples counseling.
Oh, yeah.
And they show those flashbacks of their couples
Oh my
counseling.
God.
It was, I like forget.
when she
the Ralph-
accused him of maniac tendencies.
Yes. And he goes, you don't even know what the definition of maniac is. That's like the one word everyone knows the
Maniac.
definition. Yeah. Show them maniac. And those scenes were, like, I don't even remember how horrible their
No,
relationship
that
was.
I remember I was kind of cold on Atlanta at that time. Like
Yeah.
I was like, and that relationship was like the one thing I was interested in.
Yeah. That was very interesting, and him quitting couples counseling. I mean, Drew. I think if Drew could start to be honest, she is so hesitant to look bad on camera. She has such a, what's that called? She doesn't want to look bad on camera.
Yeah.
If she could just let her guard down and let these flops accrue, she'd be so much more, relatable. Like
Yeah.
she has a lot going for her. But it's her self-awareness that makes her so, or her non-self-awareness that makes her so like embarrassing. 'Cause she
Right.
never wants to look bad.
Yeah.
So I
she
don't know.
like doesn't have what it takes to keep a fake, like a facade.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
She's not sneaky enough.
Right. Right.
I liked when it showed the footage of them doing counseling in previous seasons. It was clearly like mid-peak COVID, so they're wearing those shields.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're outside.
They're outdoors wearing shields, which I feel like specifically Atlanta, for some reason, they were always wearing the shield versus like a mask.
Yeah.
Like, didn't they have to wear shields to, like, what wedding was it? Was it Cynthia's wedding? Because Cynthia, remember, had a wedding, a massive wedding at peak COVID.
I think it's possible. Did you ever wear a shield?
No.
I never did.
I always just wear a mask.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think the shields are worthless.
But maybe it's for camera. They were just like, we want to see those mouths moving when you're talking to someone.
I mean, yeah, masks are not good for camera.
But shields don't seem to be, are they as protective as masks?
Okay,
Fauci. Okay. Anything else about Atlanta besides I thought overall this was a fun, vibrant episode where everyone was... I liked the conflict. I thought it was real. Drew is trying to spread this lie.
I was kind of obsessed with, was it Moneta that was like, I was witnessing a collusion.
Yeah.
I love that they were all going in on like the definition of collusion and colluding.
Yes.
And I thought that was a funny drama.
Yeah, I thought that was great too. I also liked when Moneta started rapping, and it was, I will say, legitimately a very bad rap. And Sheree goes, "That was wiggity wiggity whack." I thought Sheree was killing it in the confessionals this episode.
I wrote that down too. Sheree ordered a porn star martini.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Oh my God. And I was obsessed with when Kenya tried to steal Sonya's cocktail. She literally hid it behind like a different drink and was trying to be like, they brought two, like.
I'll speak up in Kenya's defense. I think she legitimately didn't know that Marlo ordered that for Sonya. And so she just thought she could be the recipient of a bonus
I think she
drink.
didn't like her cocktail and she wanted to keep it for herself.
Yeah.
And she tried, even when Sonya made it very clear that she had ordered that exact drink, she goes, "Oh, is this yours?"
Yeah. It was
like she like very like begrudgingly gave it back, even though it's like it wasn't a bonus drink, it was someone's order.
Yeah. Did you see on that same Watch What Happens Live that you definitely saw that Kenya unfollowed Sonya?
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah. Based off of something that happened on
I think
the show
she
as
just
it
said
aired.
that she's laughing too much with Marlo about Kenya, and it was hard for Kenya to watch that. She was like, "You're not a real friend," so I don't know. That's not good for the future of their relationship.
I know. I also thought it was funny that when Drew and Marlo were going back and forth, that Marlo was like, "I work in the same industry as your husband, technology." Yeah. I was like, "What?"
I don't remember anything that Ralph does.
And then Ralph was like, "Keep my name out of your mouth."
Yeah.
I was like, she didn't really say anything.
Yeah. And then but Kenya's like, "You were being facetious when you said that," or whatever. But Marlo was like, "I have no clue what Ralph does."
No.
But he's like a producer. He went to he does production, and I guess he's in technology.
He can't be trusted.
He also wrote a book. He's like
a Magic Mike dancer potentially.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. And I feel so bad for Drew that she just has this lingering fear that he's going to cheat on her again, because the person in the music video who was oiling him up invited him to be that dancer, and he's just there in Vegas with that person.
I know. And also such a bad look for a house husband to text a housewife.
Oh yeah.
Especially over something so not worth it.
Yeah.
I would get it if it was truly like, slander or something like that, but you never want, once the husbands get involved, it's always a real icky feeling.
Yeah. Nene really put the nail in the coffin on Peter getting involved in the business after a while.
Women's business.
Yeah, Peter, she really gave it to Peter after
Her and
that.
Peter have a funny dynamic, though.
They really do. I loved it.
Yeah, really fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
I did like that they're like among the conflict. I just liked that, like, at the wine tasting, finally they were just ready. Like, Kenya was like, "Let's just not bring up any drama." Marlo was like, "Okay, I just wanted to get this out of the way." I mean, Ralph texted me. I had to bring this up. They're like, "Okay, let's not talk about anything anymore.
Yeah.
Let's just enjoy ourselves."
Get drunk.
They gave the same like tripping drugs edit for them on wine. I was like, what?
I know. They were like, I guess all we need to do is like get drunk. And I'm like, isn't that what's always happening?
Right.
Like, why was this circumstance so different?
Did the editors just use the same effect from the earlier in the episode on the sound bath and just pull it over to the wine?
Someone was like, it was like slurred speech, and it was like, do I hear bells?
They're drinking wine. They've had 4 glasses of wine at most. Why are they on drugs?
I know.
But,
And, like they always get cocktails. But
Yeah.
I also liked at the dinner, they did a special shout out to Marlowe's "Today Drained Me" quote.
Oh, I liked
which
that.
was viral on TikTok.
Oh, that's so fun. I do like the editing flourishes in Atlanta.
Atlanta takes it to another level.
I do like callbacks, the flashbacks. I like some of the editing tricks they do. I like that they remind people in their confessionals of the like iconic things they've said in the past.
Yeah.
They do fourth wall breaks.
Yeah.
Sheree referencing a reality show. I think they're doing some innovative stuff there that I actually
fun.
like.
It's definitely different than the other cities. You can tell the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
So different.
Different production company, I guess. And then, yeah, there's these cultural dancers come in, and Drew is like, and then came in some pilgrims. And the producer's like, why are you calling them pilgrims? She was like, were they not pilgrims?
So Drew thought Amish, right?
I guess.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
she thought Amish. And I was like, I mean, I know nothing about
No.
Portuguese culture.
No.
I mean, they did things in Portugal that I've never, like, would never associate with Portugal. I know nothing. I mean, we've already
Yeah.
proved on this podcast. I
We know very little.
know nothing. But so I was like, what, is this? This is, I guess.
I just thought pilgrims is like such a specific time and place. Like there's only one thing that pilgrims really means.
Right. Right. I'm almost positive she thought Amish because they
Yeah.
do look Amish.
Right.
So she
Like
just got a little
old
bit confused.
timey.
Yeah, I like that. I'm
And
really
then they taught them like what's that dance called?
the cuff it
Oh,
challenge.
okay. Like Beyonce.
Yeah. So I thought that was perfect. I was like, this is a great way to
A
end
cultural
an episode.
exchange.
Yeah, I love that they just let their guard down. They let the conflict fall, and they just embraced this, culture that they didn't know nothing about. Made them dance for the cuff it challenge.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a fun ending. Like,
Too bad
overall.
they couldn't splurge to play Beyonce. That would
That
have
would've
cost
been-
them.
That would have been so good.
The
If
Kardashians plays Beyonce.
I know.
They spend so much money.
Megan has been watching Love Island, and I am stunned by the music
Oh,
budget.
really?
They play like Pink Panthers, That Boy's a Liar, like
Oh, wow.
huge songs. I don't know what
Yeah, Bravo doesn't play like that.
Bravo
We just have to
spends-
hear the free songs.
the music budget is like $1,000 an episode or something. They have this library of just the most generic pop music.
It's
that they,
all what's her name that did the Vanderpump theme song.
Yes, exactly. Yes, they do. They never splurge on music. Okay, you want to? Is that the end of our Atlanta talk?
I think so. But yeah, it was fun. It was good.
Yeah, I liked it. I was just pleasantly surprised. I was happy, and especially after the doldrums of watching RHONY, I was like, I'll take a bad episode of Atlanta over RHONY because I
Yeah.
love the cast members on Atlanta. I think they're all so entertaining that even if they're flopping, it's still fun to watch them.
Yeah.
In my opinion, in this episode, they actually had fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what a cast trip can be.
Yeah. How do you what's your piss levels inside your body? Do you want to take a piss and then end our 15 minutes, or you want to race through?
Maybe just for maximum comfort, let's take an ad break.
Yeah.
And then we'll cruise right into the OC for loose lips and relationships.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I was semi happy about this
entertained.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was entertained. Okay, let's piss our brains out. We are back, and we are fully out of piss, right?
Yeah.
What did you was your I mean, I don't want to get too specific, but is it fully all out of you?
I think I'm going to be good for a while now.
I've got probably 2 full hours in me before I have to head back in there.
Okay.
What about you?
You always pee for a really long time. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I get a full tank. I do.
You make it worth your while.
I like to only go in exactly when I need to, right before I'm about to erupt.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to go preemptively because
I-
it messes with your mind-body connection.
To be fully honest, I don't do what I just said, and I do. I'm sorry to get this graphic, but I do probably go to the bathroom unnecessarily urine related, and I need to work on that. I need to do
Okay.
special forces training to where I only go when I'm filled to the full brim
Okay.
with.
Do you ever
piss.
go during the movies or you can make it through?
I'll be honest with you now, and I'll be fully honest. if it's a more than a 2-hour movie, I will probably have to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom in the
Oppenheimer, did you piss?
middle of it. Oh yeah. And Megan told me exactly when you're supposed to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Apparently, I still want to see Oppenheimer
That
again.
piss app.
Yeah,
you heard
no,
of that?
she saw it on TikTok, and it's right when Oppenheimer's brother comes to the Los Alamos to help with testing. Apparently, there's like a 1 minute or 2 minute sort of lull in the story,
Okay.
where it's maybe more like montage. I haven't seen it, so
Yeah.
I don't know. But I had the perfect
That's
time
great.
to go to the bathroom.
That's great. I had a good situation where the first time I saw Oppenheimer, the fire alarm got pulled, so 1 hour in, we left. So then when I saw it again, I just went to the bathroom right before it started, where I left off, because I had already seen the first hour. So right when they were on the train to Los Alamos, I was like, I'll go right now. And then when I come back, the movie will resume at the part that I hadn't seen yet.
Oh, that's perfect.
So I was like, this is great.
Did you like seeing the first hour again? Was it still
Yeah,
like...
I was entertained.
I am all ready to see, I could see Oppenheimer again right now.
Yeah.
I do want to see it in IMAX or 70 millimeter, but
Yeah.
there's just so much stuff. It's so long that I want to more casually watch it, like where I don't have to focus on everything and just like take in the like beauty of it and everything.
Well, if you ever venture out, I know you're not Stubbs or whatever, but the 70 millimeters included in their like discount Tuesdays.
Whoa.
So it's like $7.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To see Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Did you know, I heard on another podcast that it's the first time that black and white IMAX film was ever used, because no one has ever wanted to film black and white IMAX. IMAX is post any black and white film. So it's the first black and white
Oh, wow.
footage ever commissioned for an IMAX film.
That's
So that's
crazy.
kind of interesting.
Wow.
That's Christopher Nolan for you.
That's right. I was just talking about with someone that I know that the black and white and the color is supposed to make it more clear, like what's going on. And I almost found it confusing.
Yeah, it didn't need that. Apparently, color scenes are subjective. His interpretation of things.
Yeah.
So they're colored by Oppenheimer's perspective. Black and white are supposed to be things that they can actually fact check, that are verifiable, objective truth.
Okay.
So all the meetings, the
I was
hearings.
supposed to know that.
Christopher Nolan should have done a little thing at the beginning like Tom Cruise does and said, hey.
Welcome
Yeah.
to AMC.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Just so you know, black and white scenes are objective.
A little key.
Color scenes
There's
are...
a key in the bottom right corner the whole time.
I think you're exactly right. I knew that. I don't know where that knowledge, how that was distributed to me, but he should have told us up front. But that's why the government stuff is black and white, because they have records of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Got it.
And apparently Truman, one of the biggest stinker presidents we ever had, one of the worst presidents we've ever had, he called Oppenheimer in real life. He called him a crybaby scientist.
He called him a little bitch.
Yeah, basically a little bitch in the parlance of his time.
time.
A crybaby scientist.
Yeah, he's told him to
Truman-
get the hell out of there.
Truman was a real piece of work.
Yeah. And that Strauss, also a piece of work.
Oh, that guy. I'm so glad he wasn't confirmed as a senator. Could you imagine?
Thanks, JFK.
JFK was right out the gate. He hated that Strauss guy.
When they were like, a little new senator named JFK, I was like, woo!
Yeah, I was so excited. I was like, who is he talking? No, first they said Kennedy, and I go, who the hell are they talking about? And then they go, JF are his initials. I go, what the hell? Now we have officially 7 minutes to talk about OC, right? You want to get into it?
Yeah, sorry. We keep falling into the Oppenheimer minute.
Oppenheimer was very good. I hope you all have seen Oppenheimer. I personally liked it a little more than Barbie. What about you?
It's apples and oranges. I don't feel the need to choose.
Okay. Well, what if I was like, okay, all right.
They're completely different.
But you can't just say objectively, like if it was in black and white.
Like
and
I said, my experience with Oppenheimer got fucked up, so I couldn't have like a pure, I had to see it twice.
Okay.
And then, I don't know. I think now I've seen Oppenheimer 1.5 times. So I am not inclined to see it again because I already saw the first hour twice.
Oh, and you wanna
and I'm
see
more
Barbie.
inclined to see Barbie again.
Okay. All right. No, you don't have to. I don't want to pit them against each other. That's awful. I'm sorry I did that. So let's talk about Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yes.
And I thought after last week's episode that I thought was a masterpiece, like so fun. Remember the slip and slide?
Slip and slide, yeah.
This had some residual goodwill because I loved last week's.
Yeah.
I still liked some of the stuff, but my problems are the same. Anything revolving around Tamra is spoiled because she is so, all of her drama is manufactured.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why they keep showing extended Gina scenes.
I know.
Again, they did another 5-minute tour of Gina.
Faux house
I was
showing.
Like, what? I was
Who
like,
was that for?
What producer did Gina see do some unspeakable deed and they include her and give her more screen time than Heather?
It wasn't funny. It wasn't entertaining.
They didn't add one. There wasn't one laugh moment of that 4-minute scene of that tour that she's fake giving Travis.
Yeah, it sucked.
I was stunned by that.
Totally sucked. We got a little peek. Vicky remained on this.
Yes.
The beginning of this episode.
Yes, but I did not like. So, I want Vicky back. I do think Vicky should be a full-time cast member. I think she's been humbled, but I didn't like the fourth wall break. Was a complete dud.
Yeah.
Shannon just goes, if John hears any arguments that we've said and that we put him on camera, he'll break up with me or whatever. It was like there was no
They
smoking
didn't say
gun.
what it was,
There
yeah.
was no actual thing. It just sounds like John is really private.
Yeah.
So if you ever say anything that they talked about in private on camera, he'll just break up with Shannon in a minute. So
Vicky was trying to get the cameras on her during the fourth wall break. She was like, "Is it something I said?"
she was. I mean, I see how craven Vicky is, and I still give her the benefit of the doubt. But there was some craven energy with the three of them together.
Yeah.
And none worse than Tamra.
Yeah.
And the way she is trying to single-handedly,
Yeah.
with no evidence, and I'll say no truth behind it, although Shannon did say that there is some Heather,
Right.
storyline or whatever. I do not believe Heather did this. Tamra is just trying to ruin Heather's relationship with the cast members and take Heather down.
It's so, pointed.
Yes, it's so pointed. And presumably she's friends with Heather. She's
Right.
never told Heather that she has this grudge against her. She's working behind the scenes in every scene of this episode. She's like,
Yeah.
Jen, my drama with you has officially concluded. I am now moving on to Heather. She is the target, and everything I do is going to be aimed towards Heather.
Yeah. Like you were saying, it's rare that it's so straightforward.
Yes, it's very clear. It's not subtle. It's like Tamra says, I heard this thing that Heather is talking shit. We've seen no evidence of it. And now she's so conniving.
Yeah.
I hate to use that word, but she's so conniving that she tries in a scene with Heather to start talking shit about Shannon and John's relationship so that Heather will take the bait and start to talk shit.
Which
and then,
she won't do.
no. And then Tamara flops and she's like, oh, okay, so you won't tell me the truth when I'm saying it now, but we all know what you actually say, behind her back or whatever. It's like Tamara just is fully flopping as she tries to create this campaign against Heather.
Yeah. It was weird. I don't really get why she's doing it.
I don't either. She's there to take down Heather. I wonder how Heather feels about this.
Right. When you texted me during the episode that Heather takes a major L this episode, what did you mean?
Okay. So my least favorite thing ever, I think in all of Housewives, I have a lot of things I hate, but definitely the worst thing, or I think the lamest thing, is to talk about a business that you have, that you talk about so much that it gets cut from the final cut because you talked about it so much.
Yeah.
I just think it is so craven.
Are you
and
talking
lame.
about Fireside app
Yes.
with Mark Cuban?
Yes. So Kathy Hilton did it. I'll never forgive Kathy Hilton for all the scenes they showed where every single scene, she basically had a tequila bottle in her purse and she would pull it out demanding that they take shots from that tequila. I thought that was so lame. Bethany did it too, but for some reason I give Bethany the benefit of the doubt because
Bethany was first.
She was first.
The Bethany clause. The Bethany clause.
Yeah, the Bethany clause. I don't know why Bethany did do it. She's sort of like the archetype for it. But
Yeah.
for some reason, Heather, seeing all of these fireside talks.
They
that
just wanted Mark Cuban on the show.
Totally. And she also flops with Mark Cuban at dinner. She goes, "Do you remember when we had dinner together once?" And he goes,
Not really, bitch.
Yeah, he goes, "In Vegas?" And she goes, "No, it was in LA and I paid the bill." And he goes, "Oh, wow, it must have been a great dinner then." It's like, that was lame. And then to see how many times she's tried to bring up this
I don't even
platform.
understand what it is.
I looked
I
it
don't
up.
want to know.
I went to it.
Is it
I
dead?
went to fireside.com. It's like you can watch, there's a true crime show that's airing right now. And apparently you can get in a chat room and say, "Hey man, can you take off your hat and say, I think my wife is the murderer."
Choose your own adventure.
And they'll do it. It looks like garbage. And it looks like
Mark
it's,
Cuban should know better.
does he? I don't know anything about
Well,
Mark
he
Cuban.
should have. He has that amazing pharmaceutical company that, what's it called? I forget what the name of it is, but he's basically attempting to revolutionize and make prescription drugs affordable.
Okay. I think that Fireside is low on his list.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was, to me, it brought out the lame moments of Heather and some things I think that are
Yeah.
very embarrassing about Heather. This really, what's that called? Like this really was typical, I guess,
Yeah.
of what I come to expect. And I can't believe that, like, when you see that montage of, like, it was, I think, 10 times that they've had to cut that out. I just always think that's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. Wait, did you watch, I don't think I saw that. Did you watch, like, Pumped Up?
Oh,
Or is that still a thing?
Well, the Never Before Seen, I don't think that was a Never Before Seen.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
it was
remember
in
that.
It was really quick. They show a bunch of black and white, sort of like Oppenheimer black and white footage of Heather talking about Fireside in 20 different environments, and they just had to cut it completely. So this Fireside just came out of nowhere.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that was, to me, I thought that was an L. Also, Heather sort of is cringe when she's talking about the pied de terre
Oh, yeah.
that she's going to have.
Tamara said, "Pieta, what?" And, like, again, you know what that is.
Right. Yeah,
Please.
for sure. Yeah.
But then remember, they showed a clip later in the episode too where, forget pied de terre, remember the driveway that they made? It was called like a porte-cochere or something.
Oh,
Do you
no,
remember
I don't
that?
remember that. No.
The house that they built that they are now just selling for
I know.
potentially $65 million with Josh Altman.
Yes.
Which I'm a big $1 million listing
Right.
stan. I've always watched it. So I was like, whoa. I was like, do you think that's really their agent, or do you think Bravo was like, make him do it?
I bet that.
I mean, he is a luxury agent.
I bet they know him, from the Bravo world, and he's the type of person that would do this type of, huge
Yeah.
real estate deal or whatever. So I felt like it was like semi-organic.
Yeah.
I really think that was a lot of work on that house. Like, I thought that was their lifetime home.
I
For the
know.
amount of times they talked about it and showed it off. They lived there less than 8 years, I
know.
think, and they're already selling it.
I believe her that this is kind of moving ahead, but like, she said she didn't want to be the general manager of the household anymore, which honestly, I believe her that it's a ton of work upkeeping a place like that.
Wasn't that taken into account that this house
Well,
would...
I think once you literally have no kids in the house anymore, it's not worth it.
How much staff do they have in that house?
Well,
I don't know. They're on another level of wealth.
Right.
I was like, Terry must be entering the billion
know.
territory. If a house is getting him 65 million, he's on a show, he's a plastic surgeon. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I will say that I love their marriage. I like them.
Yeah,
And I love Botched.
I think that they are a very good couple, and
That's one thing that, like, I feel, what we were saying about how housewives always lie about their sex lives and their money. Not that I'm saying that Heather and Terry fuck all the time, but I feel like you can't truly take someone down if they're rich and they love their husband.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, fuck you, I have a great family, we're doing good.
Yeah, that's true. That is like a suit of armor that no one can touch. I'm trying to think of other housewives who are like, who
I feel
are
like
an example
Lisa
of
and
that.
Ken.
Yeah, like you can never touch their marriage ever.
Yeah, it's like Kyle
Used to
and
be-
Mauricio, you thought, but
Right.
now that that's happening, you're like, oh shit, now she can get taken down across the board now that
Yeah.
her marriage has crumbled.
It's like their base is secure and no one can come for them. And even if they are not on Housewives anymore, like they're happy for the
Right.
most part.
That's
And
like, remember how hard it was to watch Adrian and Paul's marriage?
Oh yeah, she hated Paul.
She was so mean to him.
Oh my God, the moment that I think about all the time is when Paul was dressed up like a tree nymph, and he went up in her tree, and he was dressed in full tree garb, and he like surprised her like he was like in that Shakespeare play, Midsummer Night's Dream. Wherever she looks up and she goes, "What is he doing?" She was like, "Oh my God, he's so lame."
She basically calls him disgusting.
She's like, "I hate him so much. He's always up in trees, dressed like trees." It was like the meanest response ever. And then
He was trying to be playful.
yeah, and then Paul has to get down in all of his tree makeup and just like wipe it off sadly.
Wasn't that for her Maloof Hoof party?
Yes. Oh man, Adrian was so unself-aware.
I
She
know.
was like,
remember when there was like a minor, like not even a fire at their house, and
Yeah, I
he's
love
like,
it.
he's like, no, we'll figure it out, and she's like, I'm leaving with the kids.
yeah, that was amazing. Lisa started that.
Oh yeah.
Remember, because she was living next door and she loved
Oh, yeah.
starting fires.
No, but nothing is better to me than the Maloof Hoof.
Yeah, that was so fun. Yeah, I was just thinking of How to Save Beverly Hills because I thought it was like sort of in a dire era right
Yeah.
now. But I was like, if Yolanda, Brandy, Lisa, and Kim just came back, Beverly Hills would go another
They
10
just
years.
come walking in.
Oh my God!
Do,
I mean, that season would be one of the highest rated seasons of all time.
I guess is that New Jersey?
Oh
Yeah.
right. No, I
I
just
get
think
the
like
songs
I don't know. I
confused.
would love to see all of them back again.
Yeah.
That was like the golden
Well,
era.
Kim seems to be in a good place.
Yes.
But the thing is that the sisters, as long as they're not on a show together, can have good relationships. And
Yeah.
it's like, do we want a family to sacrifice themselves to be on TV?
True. Yeah.
Because it
that's-
seems like every time the Richard sisters are on camera together, shit
Well,
goes down.
Kim is apparently filming, like in like
Okay.
either a
Like
guest
friend of,
or a
yeah.
friend of. Yeah, hopefully they can withstand that because
Okay.
there's not a good track record there.
Right. Okay. We skipped over the pumpkin patch.
Oh,
we get
right.
a lot of Emily and Shane this episode.
loved it.
They heard our call.
It was amazing because we saw a fight. And then we saw the reconciliation after the fight,
Yeah.
which I feel like they really want to give us. They're loving Emily and Shane like
Yeah.
us.
Totally.
Shane chastises Emily's parenting skills, which I thought was really funny. The little boy goes, "That's the Scarecrow, Sam the Scarecrow, and he kills you if you don't wear a Halloween costume." And Emily's like, "Where the hell did you hear that?" And he was like, "A boy at school, you know." And then she was like, "Well, that's awful. I don't like that," or something. "That's not true." And Shane goes, "Well, what did Shane say to correct her?"
He said, like, don't, I don't know. He was basically like, let him, grapple with that. Or, like,
Yeah, I don't know
like-
what Shane was correcting because it was totally fine for her to not want her son
Yeah.
to think of this killer scarecrow that was gonna, run around or whatever. But Shane just he chastised her, I think, twice in
Yeah.
front of the kids, which Emily doesn't like because
Yeah.
she says she never had trips like this, like
Yeah.
mom and dad trips, and so she thinks they're so special, and so Shane really like sullied it.
Yeah.
And then when they go to dinner, she tells him that she perfectly
Yes.
articulates her feelings, and Shane eats crow.
Yeah.
He says, "I'll do better. I'm sorry. I realize what you're saying." And it was just, that was like their relationship was tied in a bow right there.
Yeah.
Conflict,
It was good.
resolution. I loved seeing it.
Did you like he got a confessional
Yes.
and he was wearing his dorky little suit.
Yeah, it was so fun. Yeah, I really liked that. I mean, that's like, I feel like they think that those are like what the Gina scenes are, but like
Yeah.
Emily and Shane bring it just so much more.
Yeah. It's like, Gina is, I hear that Nene clip in my brain, like, the ghetto. Like, I'm just like, can we get out of here?
Yeah, and they're too long. All of her scenes are so long.
I'm like, not a white refrigerator. Honey,
yeah.
let's go buy you a home.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's one through line again, which I think is really strange that Eddie and Tamara are supposed to go on a boat ride with John and Shannon, and then Tamara, to make up with Jen, said, "I really want you and Ryan to come on our boat for some reason." Like
Yeah.
she's inviting them.
Yeah.
So they have this 6-person boat ride
Yeah.
that is the most awkward boat ride. Well, I mean, I don't know how awkward boat rides get, but it was
Yeah.
one of the most awkward I've ever seen because Ryan knows that Tamara's been talking shit about him for the entire run of the
Right.
season so far. And then Tamara doesn't bring anything up to him. She just lets them all stew in this
Yeah.
awkwardness. And it's not until dinner that Eddie has to finally bring it up.
Yeah.
And I thought Eddie killed it.
He was direct.
He just said, "Hey, did you cheat in your marriage?" And Ryan says yes. And he goes, okay, so you would be classified as a cheater, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, did you ever say when Tamara walked in that you were going to try to fuck her? And he goes, no, but I will tell you that I was told by Jen a lot of times that Tamara would say that I was hot.
Yeah.
And so I said Tamara was hot too. Which,
Yeah.
that could be the truth,
Yeah.
right? It seems a little more believable than him just pointing at Tamara and saying, I'm going to, fuck that person pretty soon.
Totally. Oh, but I hated how it came about where they ordered those insane deviled eggs that they were like sky high deviled eggs. And Eddie was like, I don't think I can fit those in my mouth. And then Ryan goes like, come on, honey, show him how it's done. Everyone's seen the pic. And she's like, what? And he's like, the dick pic.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's acting like it's like he was on a sitcom and his like claim to fame was like a dick pic. Like what you talking about, Willis? He thinks that the dick pic is his moment to shine.
Exactly right. He is trying to take ownership of this thing that is objectively awful. And he keeps not mentioning the part where he was almost going to send all, and I think he possibly sent it to his children. I really think it's possible.
We need to call in to watch what happens together.
Let's do it. That would be good. Let's do it.
They post on Twitter all the time that they're like looking for a backlog of people to
but
call
Ryan
in. We
would
should
have
apply.
to be like the guest, and he'll never be the guest. And I don't
No.
think Jen will be for a while. But if they ever are, we have to.
But I
ask
bet
that
the
question.
other OC housewives could confirm or deny.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Anyone who's on OC.
Wednesday night.
Okay, let's try to do that. But yeah, exactly what you said. I hate that he is trying to make this his thing because it's so despicable and weird that he sent that as a thing. He said, my limp dick misses you to everyone in his Snapchat contacts.
Yeah.
And he's trying to make it like he's the first one who's ever said that
He invented
phrase
the
before.
dick pic.
Yeah, it's Ryan has fully, for me, I was
Jumped
fine
the
with him.
shark.
Yes, like
His
is,
outfit was insane.
Yeah,
He's like full Polly D.
yeah, totally. He's I'm worried.
Yeah.
I officially went from stop talking about the relationship to now talk about it all you want.
Yeah.
Something's wrong there.
Yeah. No. He's like kind of scary.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked how Shannon and John were just like, we're going to go to the bathroom now.
Right.
Goodbye.
Yeah. And then they finally give Tamara and Eddie the opening to squash this. Eddie, I guess, gets what he needs from Ryan, that he didn't actually say he was going to have sex with Tamara.
Yeah.
And then Ryan's like, can we just call a truce? I'm about to cry. I feel so betrayed. And Eddie and Tamara both say, yes, we'll call a truce. This is officially over. And then you can see Tamara is just ready to start her full assault on Heather.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Yeah.
So the Jen and Ryan, I mean, I think there's glimpses in the mid-season trailer that Tamara brings more shit up about Jen. I don't think she
Yeah.
lets it go.
Yeah, yeah.
But for now, it's squashed.
I liked that they basically put it all on Heather Amin, that she was a liar.
Yeah.
And Shannon goes, I've known Heather for years. She's a doll.
Yeah, Shannon doesn't know what she thinks about this whole thing. She's not like playing sides at all.
Yeah. And then Ryan says that him and Jen will definitely be getting married.
Yes.
Which I'm scared.
Me too. I think I heard. Did you tell me this, or someone told me this, that Jen basically knows all these red flags about Ryan, but wanted to carry on this
right.
relationship. Did we talk about that?
Yeah. Tamara said that on Watch What Happens Live, that
oh.
she wanted to, they were interested in them as a pair. So to make sure she would get cast this season, she had to stay with him, is what she said.
Which, great strategy. If
Right.
you're really just prolongating that relationship so that it's awful on camera, I mean, good for you, because I don't know if just her solo as a cast member would have been,
Right. I
warranted
mean, yeah,
another
it's her
season.
whole storyline.
Did you watch Vicky on Watch What Happens Live?
Yes.
Did you
It
like
was
it?
a rip-roaring good time. I did have to say that, well, first of all, that mid-season trailer looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
There's wigs. There's another spiritual ceremony of some kind
Yes.
in Mexico. Vicky does a beer bong.
Yes.
So more Tres Amigas to come.
Right.
I was both, yeah, that looked like a good trailer. And then we didn't talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about it on the next episode. But the Southern Charm trailer looks really good. I feel like we have some stuff coming up to look forward to.
Yeah, I think OC is about to hit its stride. Something shifted once we knew these cast members. Maybe I don't know what it is, but I'm enjoying OC now. I think it's
Yeah.
kind of fun. You got to just ignore the Tamara's fake shit stirring
Yeah.
stuff. You got to skip through Gina scenes, which are very easy to do. You can just fast forward.
Totally.
But yeah, mid-season trailer, it looks awesome. And then every minute of Vicky's Watch What Happens Live, I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
Like, how are you not harnessing this energy all the time? Her smelling all those various foods.
Oh my God, her gag game. I have to say here that Andy will always ask a housewife directly if she's on Ozempic. Vicky said that she's been intermittent fasting for 1.5 years and that she's lost 33 pounds. She looks great, but I'm like, what are the odds that every housewife on earth just lost the weight they've never lost before in 2023?
0.
Erica Jane blames menopause.
Why? What do you think? Because I can't imagine a world where I would lie about it, but I'm not. Everyone.
Dolores is the only one that will admit it.
Well, and also Dolores is the one who said that everyone is doing it, which I
Yes.
take as full validation that all of them are doing it. Why can't they just be honest? Why don't they want to be
I think there's
honest?
just like so much stigma where I feel like if you just said that you did it, everyone would have to shut up, because the reason people keep talking about it is because people deny it. Like if you go to Erica Jane's comments, they all say something about Ozempic. Like Ozempic queen, Ozempic slay.
So why they don't want to say they took Ozempic because
I think they think they'll be judged, especially because there was that storyline for a while about there being a shortage, like, which I think isn't true anymore because there's so many different brands of like that
like that they're taking
diabetics
it
couldn't get it.
Oh, okay. That's over now. I don't think anybody is claiming that there's a Ozempic shortage.
And I'm like, I would respect so much more if they were just like, fuck yeah, I took Ozempic. Like,
me too.
Fuck you.
I take Emily half admitted it. She said she took it for 6 weeks or whatever,
yeah.
just to get a jump start, and then now she's maintaining that weight or whatever. But I just take Dolores like that's. I think that's the truth. I think anyone who had a drastic weight shift is just on Ozempic
in the past year.
And I don't know why they don't just want to, in solidarity, just admit it.
Yeah,
you're right. There's no coincidence to this.
Right. I'm like,
Yeah.
Like just everyone lost those stubborn pounds all at the same time.
Right.
The second that there was finally a wonder pill.
Right. Well, how do you feel? I mean, we're at 145, a little over what we said. Do you feel?
Yeah. Should we just round out this Watch What Happens? Was there anything else?
No.
The quiet woman
manager
was the bartender.
I love that.
He said Kelly Dodd is his least favorite customer.
Yep. And then Shannon was his favorite. I loved that. I really want to go to the quiet woman. I thought that sounded fun. And I really love Vicky and Shannon's friendship.
Yeah.
Like, I think
they were like about to cry talking about each other.
I see true friendship there. I think it's Tamra that really sullies the Tres Amigas sometimes and gets them, brings out their worst instincts in terms of being performative or like screaming and getting drunk and rolling on the floor. But I loved Shannon and Vicky's specific friendship together. I would love to see them both as full-time cast members. But I think if Tamra is there, I think it's going to go back to like the worst things about when they were fired, like the things that got them fired. I'm like worried about that dynamic.
Right.
Again.
Yeah. We didn't talk about that. Vicky said that she drunkenly called all of her exes, including Don, and that she told Don that she wishes they never broke up, and he agreed. But he said that wild monkeys would fly out of his ass before he ever got back together with her.
And that was just 1 minute
like
with
a
Vicky.
throwaway comment.
It was amazing. Shannon and her drunk dialed all of Vicky's exes. I love it. I have to have Vicky as a full-time cast
And then
member.
they broke Tamra's breast implant, and Andy was so mad.
Yes. Oh, Andy was in the episode.
That was supposed to go to BravoCon. They're gonna have to patch it up.
They can do that. They'll just fill it up with some liquid or whatever. It can be preserved. But I just thought I just think there's so much entertainment there with Vicky. Like, why are you doing this to her? Just bring her back.
Yeah, she would have to be on board to fully participate, though, because you know how she like stonewalls other new people.
Yes, I think she would have her hubris checked a little bit after this drought she's been in. So
yeah, okay.
Cool. All right, do you feel good? I feel like we're a little over, but that's okay.
It's okay.
But I think
it was a self-imposed.
Yeah, but
deadline.
we did rapid fire 3 shows. I mean, that's not easy to hit 3 powerful. Different shows.
We skipped Crappy, which maybe we'll bring over to our next week if there's anything fun.
You just need to know one thing about Crappy Lake. Watch it right now.
Yeah.
Because it is so good.
Because it's all you're going to get from these women.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to sign off, and then Amy and I are going to record another episode that you're going to listen to next week.
Yes.
So think about this, and then next week, think about how we just did this back to back.
I'll be sightseeing around the world in 80 days.
Yep. Imagine Amy in New York City taking a bite out of the Big Apple. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
This one's for you tonight.